Hi, and I'm Valley Hart, and we are going to wait just a moment for more of you to pop on. We have been getting text messages and private messages and lots of requests all day for updates, and we're looking forward to talking to you.
That's right. I think we have some material tonight that's informational, and we hope you like it. So we'll just wait a little bit.
Where are you guys watching from? Oh, thank you so much for your prayers.
Yes, thank you, Reed.
We're praying for you guys too. We have been hearing from a lot of people today that they feel confused, they feel frustrated, they feel stressed, they feel discouraged, they feel numb. A couple of people told me they felt like throwing up. I said, so do I. And so, frankly, hi guys. Frankly, Leonard and I are pretty tired. We've been cold. We've been fighting out in it all day, trying to do a great job for you and bring back the story. And we've struggled a little today and said we're not even sure if we want to do this tonight because we don't want to say the wrong thing. So let's just keep this very honest, very real. You're going to come away with some insights and some new information. And we're actually going to lift each other up, I promise you, because as we go along in your comments, I'm going to ask any of you who have suggestions about how to de-stress or cope with frustration or deal with the negativity or disappointment of the results of this day that we have had to deal with. How do you guys deal with it? What are some of your techniques? What's a favorite musical artist that you listen to? What's a favorite song that you play to lift you up? What is something that you do, whether it's pray or meditate or get a spot of tea, walk the dog, or all of the above?
Yeah, wow, we're just getting responses from just about all all states.
Sandra, I wanted to throw up too, and so did my friend Kira, and probably a lot of the rest of you. We just kind of felt nauseous, right? Hang on, Leonard's going to mute that. Hang on one moment, please. So sorry.
Sorry. Okay, we're up and
So you
running.
might have noticed from hearing that there's a little delay. We're about 8 seconds ahead of you from what you're actually seeing live on the broadcast. So Glenda says, I do my best to keep the faith, and this is really hard. It is. So here's what I'm going to suggest, Patriots. We're going to cover some top news. We are going to go over some of President Trump's best accomplishments. We're going to share some of our favorite songs or favorite pick-me-ups. Please tell me a song that's a favorite of yours that I can listen to lift my spirits tomorrow or to keep me going so we can get recharged and re-energized, and all of the other many people who will be watching. This is a very difficult day for some of us.
Right.
And we're not going to gloss over it. Leonard and I talked about it, right, Leonard?
That's right.
And we said, we're not going to come on tonight and say, oh, guys, everything's cool. Hold the line. Tomorrow, 10 fairies are going to show up with 10 magic wands, and everything's going to be perfect. Right now, we're in the dark. We really are. We're like Daniel walking into the lion's den.
That's right.
And we don't know what's going to happen, but we do have faith that God could solve things if he chooses to, and if it's the right time and the right place for it. And so we'll come back to that in a few minutes. We want to hit some of the top news stories, and we want to share some of the insights about today, because we were out in Washington, D.C. freezing all day, and we want to give you some insights. Yep.
Right. We'll start off with 12 National Guard members failed the purity test and were removed from their duties at the inauguration because they were associated with National Rifle Association. Can you believe that? Turning Point USA, Patriot Guard writers, or had posted something on their social media that showed they were conservatives, and because they posted that, they were booted off the guard. Basically, they were fired, terminated. It's really disgusting.
They were relieved from their duty here at the inauguration.
That's right. Washington D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser said that anybody who cannot pledge allegiance to their mission and may be pulled by their views not only needs to be pulled from their mission, but they need to be pulled from the National Guard, if you can believe that. Because of your political views, you can now be fired because you support one party over the other.
And ladies and gentlemen, let's keep in mind that one of the stipulations for red flagging them was involvement in the NRA, which is completely legal and is part of our Second Amendment rights. So we wanted to bring you that story and let you know. And
You know what? I talked to some of the guard. I mean, they wouldn't come on camera. But however, they were this one particular National Guardsman was from another state. He came up here, and in doing so, he became active duty. He says, "I have conservative views, but I don't share them." He sees the writing on the wall, but he had a sense of duty, and he says, "You know, when I got sworn in, I got sworn in not only, you know, from the Constitution." Pledge allegiance to the Constitution. However, he also pledged allegiance to his Constitution in his own state. So when he's a National Guardsman in his state, he's following the laws and the statutes of that state. But when he's deployed nationally, you know, it's the Constitution that he follows. And you know what he told me? He says, I asked him about you know, what about the election? What do you feel about it? He goes, you know what? It doesn't matter who the commander-in-chief is. We will follow that person because of his sense of duty and love of God and country. And it just warmed my heart knowing the type of servicemen that we have. You know, the sense of duty.
That's an interesting point, though, Leonard. So, viewers, we have some super smart viewers out there. I want to pose a question for you. Here's something interesting to consider. If someone in the military made a remark that was supportive of President Trump while President Trump was president and he was commander-in-chief, then it was found out when Biden took over, and Biden objected to it, should they be allowed to kick them out of the military? That's an interesting legal quandary.
Right. What about due process? You know, apparently now in this administration, in this administration, there is no due process. The mere fact that you have a political belief can get you fired, can get you terminated, can get you.
Glenda says no. Mike Burke says no. Lisa says no. Cassie says no. We're getting a lot of no's, that you pretty much don't think that would be fair if they supported President Trump as commander-in-chief and then the leadership changes and the following leadership wants to punish them. Now we have more no's. Joseph, military outlaw.
Now you can't even express there's no freedom of speech. You cannot express your views any longer.
We got a heck no from USMC here. We got a powerful no.
That's right.
So in breaking news, terrorist thugs from Antifa are on the rampage again in Portland right now. Antifa attacked the Democratic National Headquarters in Portland today, smashing windows, vandalizing the building, attacking police, and flipping a car, leading to 8 arrests. However, as reporter Andy No frequently points out, Antifa members are typically, even if they're arrested, they are released from jail very quickly. So we want to ask, what's wrong, Democrats? You thought when you raised bail for Antifa and you helped bust them out of jail that they would just play nice with you? Really? This is a terrorist group.
That's right. But to some, it's a summer of love.
Oh, right. It's a summer of love, right, guys? Yeah, Field of Love while they were flipping cars tonight and attacking police and attacking the Democratic National Headquarters, the DNC.
That's right. Well,
so now we just want to say thank you to President Trump for some of the great things that he did. And I know you all love President Trump or respect and appreciate him. So we thought we would do what the mainstream media hasn't and
highlight some of his accomplishments. And one of the things he did was he lowered taxes, brought companies and jobs to the United States, cut red tape, negotiated trade deals with China, Mexico, Canada. We had the lowest, under his administration, we had the lowest unemployment ever for Hispanics at 3.9, African Americans 5.5. That's just some of his accomplishments.
He also was instrumental in the bipartisan First Step Prison Reform Act. He had the lowest unemployment records ever. He had less war and better trade. He had gas at $2.10 a gallon for some of us, and that was wonderful. We exported more oil than we imported. The stock market came to above 30,000. We had job security, stronger borders, and stronger border wall. And we had record child sex trafficking actions and executive orders, and some really significant rollbacks in abortion, which we'll touch on a little bit in a moment.
Amen for that.
So who loves President Trump? Who appreciates him? And I think it's fair to say, somehow if this video ever makes its way to anyone on the Trump team, please tell President Trump that he is loved by millions of people who appreciate that he worked without pay and donated his pay to a charitable cause every single quarter, that he did not buckle when he was attacked from all sides, that he fought for the USA, he fought for the working class person, and he fought for people throughout the world for liberty and freedom.
Right.
And we appreciate it.
Just looking at some of these comments. Hello from Canada. Hello, Canada. We love you. Thank you. Okay.
So as many of you know, we did have the inauguration today. It was a very bittersweet, difficult day. President Trump chose not to attend, and a lot of people said this was, quote, unprecedented. I don't think they know what that word really means. It was not unprecedented. Yeah. President Andrew Jackson, who was a Democrat, actually snubbed Ulysses S. Grant in 1869 and skipped the inauguration as well, because Grant had backed Johnson's removal. So Grant wasn't really that surprised. And given the rancor between, what should we call him? Do we have to say President Joe Biden now? Because I've been referring to him as Basement Biden. So what do you guys think? Can we still, for a few more days, say Basement Biden? Given the rancor between President Donald J. Trump and Basement Biden, it's hardly a surprise that President Trump opted not to attend. And he's always been very forthright. He's always been honest. He is not a faker. And I respect his decision not to go, given the tumultuous situation and the unresolved election fraud issues that we were contending with in the end.
Right.
How many of you support President Trump's decision to not attend the inauguration? Say yes or no, because I'm very interested in knowing how you feel. So before we move on to the next news story, I would love it, Leonard and I would love it, if again you would share with us ways that you deal with the stress of today, the sadness, the whatever you're dealing with. How do you deal with the negativity and how do you move past it? What are your go-tos? Do you listen to a particular musical artist? Do you have a favorite song that you could share with us that Leonard and I could check out? Do you hit the gym? Do you drink tea? Do you play with your dog? What are your go-tos for relieving stress?
Faith and prayer, according to Debbie. Thank you. That's what we just considered. We were in a funk this morning. Understandably so, but
funk's a way understatement. Seriously,
right.
It was like, how would you describe it?
Well, we considered just shutting everything down, maybe going to prayer, and seek the Lord, which we did anyways. But just try to find a peace about this. And in a sense, even though all this turmoil is going down deep down inside, I know that God's in control. So that's where I found my peace.
We do. And so we talked to several people today that said, oh my gosh, Valley, how do I deal with this? Is everything I believed incorrect? Is everything that people in our group had faith in not going to happen? And I said, here's what I would suggest. Cocoon right now. Shut off the news, except not us, because we're going to tell it to you straight, but shut off the news, shut off the noise, declutter, and cocoon for a while, whatever that means to you. Re-energize, feed your soul, feed your body if you haven't eaten, get a massage, listen to good music, take a nap, whatever you need to do to basically get fueled by God and get balanced and get recharged. Because what's the one thing we do know? We are not going to quit and go in the corner and cry. We are not going to say, oh, you guys cheated. Good one. You won. We're out. We lost. You cheated. Nice work. We are not that group. We are
Right.
the group that gets on our knees in strength and asks our God to help us.
And
We are
right.
the group that moves ahead in faith. And even if we don't know exactly what we're going to do we quit, Leonard?
No, as a matter of fact, the battle continues. I mean, the Lord has us put on the full armor of God so that you're prepared. So that's what we plan on doing. This is a, our beliefs don't stop at the
Mike Burke
election.
says we will not quit.
That's right. So, we're going to move forward. We're going to move forward in faith, and we're going to move forward with our beliefs and share the truth, and nothing's going to stop us.
So this may be a little bit uncomfortable, Patriots, but I'm going to ask you to listen for just a moment because, as President Obama said, elections have consequences. And for any of your friends or family who were either apathetic and did not vote or said, oh, it doesn't really matter which person wins, Democrat or Republican, we trade back and forth, it's not a big deal, or anyone who said, I don't really like some of the things about President Trump, so I'm just going to pick Biden because Orange Man bad. Then here's a tiny recap of what we are now facing in Biden's America.
That's right.
So today, Biden signed 17 executive orders within hours of taking his oath, 9 of which directly overrode policies enacted by President Trump with a simple stroke of his pen. And he ordered the end of the Keystone XL pipeline, resulting in the loss of thousands of good-paying American jobs related to the pipeline and 6.8 million energy-related jobs that could be threatened as well. Also expect gas prices to rise and our ability to export energy to fall. That's number 1, right there.
The Democrats have objected to the wall to protect our border from unchecked immigrants pouring into our country during a pandemic. Yet, today we saw Biden Pelosi surrounded by the tallest,
Strongest, longest,
unscalable wall or fence.
and the most troops ever
Right,
in the
right.
history of the Capitol.
That's right.
So they mock us for wanting a border wall, and they actually have initiatives right now to cease work on the border wall. And I've heard rumors, but we're not saying this, to actually tear down the border wall. And yet, when it came to their own personal safety, right away, what did they do, Leonard?
That's right. They built up their wall, didn't they?
Yes.
Amazing.
So Biden's executive orders and policies will not benefit working class Americans.
They benefit China, Russia, Iran, illegal immigrants, and liberal elites.
And one of Biden's policies is he wants to grant instant citizenship to 11 million is what he says, 11 million undocumented immigrants. Leonard, when we did some research today, how many legal undocumented immigrants do many sources think there actually are?
Actually, they believe there's 22 million. However, Biden says he will immediately give amnesty to 11 million.
No, to all of them. But
to all of them, but he's only claiming there's 11 million.
So if this is enacted, we could be looking at a sticker price of double what he was anticipating.
Right. Well, it's estimated we spend $275 billion a year. That comes out to, $25,000 per undocumented immigrant.
And the stats for undocumented immigrants committing crimes is 1 out of 4 ends up committing crimes. And then when they are incarcerated, we end up spending $39,000 a year to support them. So this is a hefty price tag that Biden is going to enact with one little stroke of his pen today, right, in the name of racism. In the name of racism, because apparently it's racist if we want to guard the safety of our country during a pandemic. But Leonard, what are some of the things that the border wall actually protects us from?
Well, we're talking about suppression of drugs coming into our border, suppression of human trafficking. You have coyotes,
illness like the pandemic,
diseases, right? I mean, all that.
Black market organ sales, all kinds of things. I have a family member who is a member of the Customs and Border Patrol, and he said basically, Valley, without a border, we are just land.
That's right. That's right. Did you guys know it is now racist? You're a racist if you deny the fact that there is uh, white privilege. The mere denial of white privilege is now considered racism and uh, uh, white supremacist.
And I would just like to point out, Leonard Bacani, that you make a terrible white
I
supremacist, even
do.
though they accuse you of that. And also, real MAGA Hulk, he makes a terrible white supremacist.
Exactly.
And the Chinese woman that we interviewed, she makes
That's
a
right.
terrible
That's right.
white supremacist, the one that
Yeah.
escaped communism.
That's right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, family, how do we move ahead from here? What are our choices?
Yeah. It's really tough, Valley. But you know what? Let's have our audience chime in. What do we do from here? Where do we go?
We're in Washington, D.C., everyone. We are in Washington, D.C. We will continue doing interviews. We'll continue gathering footage tomorrow, and we will hope to put some footage up on the website by tomorrow that you will be able to see. But right now, let's brainstorm. How do we move ahead from here? Do we go in the corner and cry?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely
As a
not.
matter of fact, we need patriots. We need two true patriots that'll run for office.
Get involved in your local government. Get involved in your state government.
That's right.
Push hard for paper ballots. We need backups for paper ballots. We need to push hard for legal ID.
That's right. We need voter ID. I mean, we need ID for everything. You need ID to get it, to get rent or get a lease to buy
You
a
need
car.
ID to get a fishing license, to catch a fish.
Right.
You need ID to buy a beer, to check out to get a library card, to check in at the airport. This modern day and age right now, it is insulting to say that any certain class or race of people are either too ignorant or too incapable of getting ID. People have ID.
It's very
and
insulting.
it is time now that we upped our game, that we stepped out of what could potentially become a banana republic, and we really insist on voter ID.
Right. Okay, so let's read some of the comments. Combat crime suppression, extremism in any way possible. Promises made, promises kept. Absolutely. We are now in our 1776 original Constitution, not of 1871. Wow.
And we're hoping that some of you got a chance to see our 1776 Commission report. It's so inspiring. And we feel like with Secretary of State Pompeo and President Trump and the many historians and scholars that worked on it, that it is invaluable. It is a roadmap to move ahead in a beautiful way. And even if President Biden nullifies it and takes it away, we put it on our website. It is available there for you to read, for you to think about, for you to teach your children and your grandchildren. And it's a great guide for strengthening the integrity and the historical perspective of every person who reads it. We owe so much to the people who came before us.
That's right, JC. We love you too.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we have been like 16 hours today out in the freezing cold, snowflakes falling and wind whipping and all of that.
It's 32 degrees now.
It is. And we just wanted to come on. We just wanted you to know that we love you. We appreciate your prayers. We appreciate your thoughts. And we appreciate the feelings of frustration that you're going through, because we are as well. So I'm looking forward to reading these comments afterwards, to seeing what your suggestions, your favorite songs are, your way of internal healing or re-energizing. We know prayer, and that's very, very important. Now I'm looking for some practical things as well, like watch a good comedy, let a dog lick you, hug a baby, some of the back to basics.
Yeah, and one comment was President Trump did say that he was coming back in one form or another. So
yes, he did, and then
that is, we don't know.
He concluded by saying the best is yet to come, and he is coming back in one form or another.
That's right.
And we have our own hypotheses about what the military may be doing or what things might be going on behind the scenes. But as you know, we will not report anything that we cannot vet and see for ourselves. Actually, today someone got a little upset with us because we had been asked were there a lot of tanks on the streets here. And we actually went live to show you the streets and say, no, we, as an
From
eyewitness,
our
from our
perspective,
perspective, we don't see tanks all over here. And if we can't verify it with someone who does, that we trust, or we don't see it ourselves, we are not reporting it.
we even reached out to people in government. We talked to people, our contacts here in Washington, D.C., to see if they can confirm that story, and they were not able to. They had no knowledge of any tanks rolling through the streets of Washington, D.C. So
Thanks. I look forward to these videos. Stress relievers are great. You need to read the second Declaration of Independence. Did Biden get arrested yet? My popcorn is getting cold. Keep the microwave handy, you guys. Is Hillary in jail? Is Pelosi in jail? Oh, we wish we knew the answers to these. How was the parade? It looked like a sad parade. It really felt dismal and eerie and a little creepy here. So,
yeah, everything was blocked off. So there was no pomp and circumstance. They had the media out there, but really there was nobody there. I mean, everybody was prevented from going into the red zone.
We saw a few college kids that had their little handmade placards that said basically "Go Biden," and it was very different than any other inauguration in the history of the USA. But we are happy to be here with you. It really picks our spirits up to see that we're not crazy and we're not the only ones, and that you guys love our country and that you appreciate the USA and you don't consider us a source of evil, because we agree. We think that this is a country that is a huge balancer and a huge help to the world, and that we have good intentions. We're not flawless, but we try.
That's right.
And we are not quitting and we are not giving up. So thank you so much.
That's right. So more comments are coming in, but we really do appreciate your support. And
we'll read the comments, guys. We always do afterwards. We always go on the comments and we always comment back to you. So please feel free to reach out for us if you have questions, suggestions, if you just want to say, hey, you're not alone. We appreciate it. You're family to us. So we are so happy to see all of you here despite the late hour. Hang in there. We will have some more info and more updates for you tomorrow. We have some really good interviews, and we are visiting someone very influential and going to ask some very pointed questions. So
I'm looking forward to that. But our mission's not done here. So if you feel so inclined, if you could support us, we'd really appreciate it. Just go to www.c-vine.com. On the top of the webpage, there's a donation button. You can for a one-time donation, or you can decide to do a monthly donation. I mean, if you don't donate on a monthly basis, you still have full access to the website. So we just want to encourage you to do that and support what we're doing here. As we're all volunteers here, we don't get paid.
None of us. We all volunteer. We
had to take a week off of work.
We pay for our airplane tickets, our food. I've slept in a chair many times because that's just the way it's worked out. We do what we need to do to be a warrior on the side of right. And we appreciate all your support. If for whatever reason our YouTube channel goes dark, please check back on c-vine.com, where we will have updates posted every evening. And until then, until tomorrow, I'm Valley Hart from
And I'm Leonard Bacani.
From C-Vine News
That's
as well. And we appreciate you very much. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. At least we didn't cry.